So we have 1 month in the books on real estate data to start the year 2023. So let's dig in a little bit. First on the macro side, really interesting. So Florida, percentage-wise, year over year, led the nation in terms of population growth at 1.91%. The U.S. population average increase was only 0.4%. As far as aggregate numbers, Texas led the country with 470,000 people moving into the state last year. Florida was number two at about 420,000. But what's interesting between the Texas and Florida dynamic is that of the people earning $200,000 or more per year, there were about 25,000 of those people that moved into both states. 80% of those people came to Florida. Only 20% came to Texas. So Florida's seeing a lot more of the very high-end buyers coming in, as we can attest to in South Florida. There's not enough space for kids in private schools, the country clubs, the golf courses. I mean, the restaurants are packed. It's unbelievable the amount of money that's coming in and still has to come in. So that'll frame the real estate market data that I'm about to share with you. So from a perspective of single-family homes and condos, kind of mirrors this as well. So we've basically doubled the amount of inventory in single-family homes, and I'm speaking specifically about the $2 million and up market. So if we look at that, we go back to last summer in July, we had about 550 homes on the market priced above $2 million in Miami-Dade County. Fast forward to the end of January, we had just under 1,000. So we've seen a big uptick in the amount of inventory. And sales volume month to month has generally been, last summer, the first couple quarters of last year, about 50 to 60 homes that were selling in this price range, 2 million and above per month. And now we're seeing somewhere in the 30 to 40 houses selling per month range. So inventory's up, closed sale volume is down, and yet if you look over the last 12 months, pricing the last 3 months, November, December, January, on a price per square foot basis is actually the highest that it's been that we've ever seen, frankly. And so it's kind of crazy that we see all-time high in pricing on a dollar per square foot sales perspective, and yet we see increasing inventory, lots more houses that are sitting on the market and actually being reduced in prices and lower sales volume. So, but what's interesting is that turnkey properties, luxury properties in the best locations, they're still getting, in some cases, multiple offers above ask price. I had a situation like that for one of my buyers this week for a house in Coral Gables that basically doubled in value in the last 3 years, and yet hit the market at a pretty high number at over $1,100 a square foot west of US 1, so for that location, for those of you who know, and still had 4 offers above last list price, which is nuts, right? On the condo side, and we're seeing the ultra luxury side of the market, really, those houses are selling at premium dollars. Same goes for condos. At the end of January, we had 999 condos for sale above $2 million, with only 31 closed sales in the month of January. There were 39 closed sales for houses in the month of January. And so for condos, we've also kind of seen that uptick, about double the amount of inventory, and the pace of closed sales has dramatically decreased. And yet on the condo side, we're also seeing a sales per square foot average of about $1,500 per square foot. The dollar per square foot average on the single family home side is about $1,142 a square foot. So these are big numbers for Miami, especially that you're seeing some of these not on the water. These are inland homes in Coral Gables, Coconut Grove, Pinecrest, that sort of thing. So I think where we're going is very hard to predict where the market's going from here, but I would say that, based on the first two things that I mentioned, with amount of inventory and closed sales volume decreasing, and yet prices at all-time highs for what is actually selling, and yet we're seeing a lot of these price reductions and the average house just sitting on the market, that we probably have to see a downtick somewhere in pricing as we go forward. And how much? I don't think it's going to be that much. South Florida seems pretty resilient. We still have a lot of people moving here. We had 122 corporate relocations in the last couple of years. 25 of those were corporate headquarters like Citadel, and then 95 or so were regional headquarters. So we still see people matriculating down here in stages. They're not all just showing up in one fell swoop. So anyway, interesting time to be in South Florida, and I hope that's helpful.